Hey, how's everyone doing? So, another episode of. Does not shut up? Sorry, one sec. There we go. Having some issues in my stream. Just give me a sec here, guys. Sorry. There we go. All right. Well, hope you all doing well on a Tuesday night. You know, another episode of this. So today we have Green. Green is a 1550, I think, MR. Lily player, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just pick up what they had put. So they mentioned they just kind of want to see overall gameplay impression, and kind of see where improvements can be made. Pretty common, I think. You hit 1500, 1550, 1600, you kind of start getting to a point where, you start to maybe hit a wall, maybe not, but looking for some feedback. So let's get them on and we can chat. Hey, Green, can you hear me? Let's see. You're muted in Discord if you're talking. Oh, is that you, Green? Kelv? Kelv 1234? One sec. Let's see, some came up, I think. Someone in chat. I'm not sure if that's the same person, though. I'm guessing that's them. So, anyway, while we sort that out, I suppose. Hope you all doing well tonight. Yeah, I've been running these sessions now for a while. Would be like the 27th, I think, 26th, 27th session. So likely what we're gonna start doing too is folks are gonna start getting going for runbacks. So let's see. Yeah, so I'll be probably adding some additional slots for folks to run it back. So if you had a session like this already and you're looking for another one, we can, you can schedule a follow up, I suppose. I'm not quite sure. The format still might be similar to what we're doing now. There might be some small adjustments just because we have a previous session to reference, but we'll see how that goes. It seems like there's a lot of interest in that too. So. Well, let's see. What happened? Maybe that was Green. Maybe that was them in the stream chat saying they can't make it. I don't know what this is. Let's see.
Hello, hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hello, hello.
Hey, Green, can you hear me? You there?
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
yeah. Let me finish this one map
Sure, man.
and I'll be ready.
All right. Hey, Dizzying Logic, thanks for the follow. Yeah, Green's just running through one more ranked match, I guess. So we'll see if they actually stay 15,
Okay,
56 strong.
done. Hang on a second. Let me.
You good?
No, I was doing a ranked match,
For sure.
and
How'd it
let
go?
me switch. Oh, I won the set.
All right. Pretty sure that's you right there. Okay, cool. So I was looking at the what you had put in for the note, and I guess you're looking for some kind of just overall feedback, right? Where some things may
Yeah.
be lacking or something like that. Okay, cool. So yeah, we can definitely look at that. It's a little bit tougher, I think, without something to pinpoint, but maybe we'll figure something out. As we're playing. So I invited you to the custom room. So for purpose of the stream, for anyone watching, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna run a first to three. I'll try to get an impression of like what's happening, what is working, what's not working, that type of thing. After that, we'll do a little replay review. So we'll take a look at one of the games that we played, and also probably one of the games that you sent me. So you sent me some replays earlier today, so we'll take a look at one of those. I haven't had a chance to look at them, so we'll do it live. After that, if there's something specific that I think is worth bringing up, we can do a little lab time, so a little lab work to figure out certain situations or to help illustrate a point. And then if there's time after, we'll run another first three. So does that sound reasonable
Cool.
to you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. So yeah, just go ahead and queue up in any of the slots. I'll join you in a sec. So what I'm gonna do is I will deafen in Discord, so you won't be able to hear me talk because I tend to talk and I'm streaming this obviously, so I'll be talking a bunch. So I don't want to impact anything you're doing. Also, I may not rematch right away, so the timer may run down as I continue to talk and articulate things. So don't worry about it. I'm still here. Just take a bit to queue up. So go ahead and queue up, and good luck.
Sweet.
All right, so Green, I've played them a couple of times in One Fight Stand. They run a pretty good Lily. I'll admit that my Lily knowledge is a little bit lacking overall, so we'll see how this goes. They're good though, so it's not like I'm not expecting to see too many holes in their game plan, so it might just be come down to character knowledge. So let's see how this goes. So sorry, you demon. Thanks for the sub, dude, or a gifted sub. Okay. I took lazy on bareface being once, lost by 1 point. All right, so they went for like a Okay, good reversal there. Okay, I can't throw a fireball against that like that once they have stock. Oh shoot, the scene's wrong. Yeah. There we go. My bad, guys. My bad. Oh, that was a nice pickup. What? I got distracted, bro. All right. So anyway, what I'm seeing here is that like basically it's very difficult to play against Ken in some regards because you have to be able to navigate some of the neutral game. So Lily has some pretty good buttons with like crouching heavy punch and like stand heavy punch. Like there's a stand medium punch that's really good. Oh, that's good. But this seems like they're having a hard time defensively, right? Nice sweep. Nice throw. So they need to be doing more of that. Oh, I don't know if that was supposed to be an SVD. Oh. Definitely needs to be more of those pokes in neutral to kind of establish space, right? They need to be working more towards getting win stock. Oh, I'm burned out. Alright. they gonna let me throw loop them? You got a tech, right? There you go. So that stockless whatchamacallit, the stockless Spire there is pretty minus I think from that range with that light one, so gotta be careful with that. But yeah, I think the main issue here is that they're not focusing on trying to win a neutral interaction and then get a stock, right? Because Lily's offense is really enabled once she has win stock, right? So you can see he's kind of like walking forward trying to out neutral me maybe. Oh, there you go. Uh-oh. Misinput probably. Needed to get a win stock there. Nice sweep. Oh, no, no SPD. There you go. Okay, so like when I do that fireball there, they need to be able to punish that with a OD Spire. Yeah, so normally, or at least ideally, right, once Lily has a stock, I can't throw fireballs anymore because the OD Spire is projectile invincible, right? So if I throw a fireball against that, when she has stock there, I'm going to get punished for it, right? So that's what you see more of, right? The crouching heavy punch into the stock. Oh. Oh, that's punishable, I think, right? Okay. So, so yeah, I mean, I think that what was happening here was that I wasn't allowing them to get stock, and because of that, it made it difficult to run their offense, right? So let's bring it back on. Hey, Green, how'd that go? What do you think? Can you hear me okay? Oh, hold on. I can't hear you. One sec. Let me turn you up. Still there? Yeah, so I see your little green icon flashing, but I don't hear you. Is it on my end? Let's see. One sec, guys. Oh, I guess they're rejoining.
I just switched over to my phone. I'll.
Okay. Is that okay?
No, yeah.
Okay, all good. Hopefully you'll be able to see the screen share on your phone. Hopefully you can do that. If not, you know, we can figure something out. But so anyway, how do you think that went, that set? What are we thinking?
Kinda how it usually goes when I lose or so, or typically when I struggle with things, because yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, for the most part,
Okay.
like the errant.
Yeah, there was a couple of misinputs I saw, but I think like what it kind of came down to was you weren't able. I think it felt like you weren't able to really effectively get stocks, right? I was doing as best a job I could as to kind of try and stay in your face or prevent you from getting stocks, and then that kind of shuts down a lot of Lily's game, right? Because what was happening in those games, and let me actually bring up the replay. So I'll be right back. Leave this custom room. I really wish I can. Capcom, if you're listening, let us view replays in the custom room, please. Jeez, this is so bad. Ugh, killer. All right. So
go ahead and stream.
yeah, so I have the stream running. I'm also gonna share it in Discord. But if you can't see it with your phone or whatever, that's totally fine. You can just look at it if you can watch it on stream or somewhere else to look at it. But I'm gonna take a look at the first replay. I think is probably the one we want to look at. Actually, let's take a look at this one, the second one here, and then I'll add this one too. All right. All right, so I'm sharing in Discord, or I'm streaming it too. So either way, as long as you can see the screen, I think it'll be good. So yeah, I think the way that I was kind of getting around it was because you weren't able to get stock, they kind of shut down your ability to get in, right? Because normally what lilies will do, right, is you'll get stock and then you'll do like a spire of some kind, OD spire or whatever, and then you force a mix-up situation, right? So the idea is that Lily is in your face +2, so now I have to guess, right? Is it going to be strike throw, command throw, right? And I have to. It's definitely an RPS there because I can't option select against the command grab, right? So when Lily is +2 in my face, I have to guess, right? I have to guess if you're gonna strike a throw.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so that's kind of the main way, right? That's the main like game plan for Lily, right? To force those situations as often as possible, right? The way to get there though is by winning a neutral interaction or maybe doing it on block where you are able to get a stock, right? So what I see a lot of Lily players do, and I don't play Lily, so I may be hopefully I'm not misleading you or anything. But
No.
what I see a lot of Lily players do is use their their crouching heavy punch into like into stock, right? The win thing where
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
to stock, even on block, right? So like you'll just throw that button out, use the medium or heavy one to get a stock, like on block, and then your game can start from there, right? So. Additionally, you can control a lot of space with her stand medium punch, right? That move that like she sticks the hockey
Yeah.
sticks out. Yeah, you control a lot of space with that, right? So the idea is that you kind of control space, so I can't really walk in to where your kind of sticks like ranges, and then you start walking in with like crushing heavy punches and that type of thing, right? So let's see how this game goes. This is game 2, I believe. So let's take a look at what's happening here. Oop. Right, so that was not bad, right? I was a little. If you were, I was running in, right? Unlucky that it doesn't quite hit, but I think that's the kind of the right idea, right? Is you want to poke in that range to keep me from being able to get in. Good block. Right. So here, what did you go for? So you land a punish counter, right? Back heavy punch, right?
Yep.
And then you go into this thing, the forward heavy punch, I think is what this, and then
No, that's 3 HP, but that was a missing. But
okay.
that should have been crouch heavy punch,
Oh,
or
okay.
if just so to conserve the drive gauge, you just go in a special back heavy punch into Spire.
Gotcha,
Or
gotcha. So you had a conversion from there, and typically I think here you were probably going for, like you said, crouching heavy punch into like what stock, right? It would probably be the
stock, or just regular Spire without, because just to maintain pressure.
okay. Oh, thanks. So one sec. Turn that down just a touch. There we go. Okay. Okay, so what happened here, right? So you get back thrown, parry the fireball, drive rush behind it, and then you try to check with like a jab here, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of tough, right? And the reason for that is because you had just parried the fireball, right? So if we look at what happens here, and if you look at the frame meter, right, you block, right? And if you see, you're still in recovery, right? If you look down here
Mm-hmm.
on the frame meter, right, you're still in recovery until the heavy punch is basically in your face, right? So this is a
Yep.
very common like thing that Ken players do. Aki players do this too, right? Is they'll throw a fireball to cover their approach, and you drive rush behind it, right? It only costs me 1 bar to do it, and it's very difficult to deal with, right? Because if you parry the fireball, or even just block, right? Because blocking doesn't change the frame data, right? You're stuck in recovery behind this for a little bit, right? Especially from that range of with the slow fireball that I threw, right? So Ken recovers, is able to drive rush behind it, right? So normally the counterplay to this is to continue parrying and go for like a second perfect parry here, right? So you would do something like, right? So you parry this, and then you would try to go for a second parry, right? So this is more to do with like covering the approach here, because I think like especially for Shoto player like Ken players and Aki players, this is our main way to get in against Lily, right? Especially when she doesn't have stock. because once Lily has stock, I can't throw fireballs anymore because you can OD spire like on reaction to the fireball, right? So what
Yeah.
you would typically try to counterplay this with, at least what I've seen, is you would try to parry the drive rush button coming in, right? So you get this right, right? Just parry both, right? And then you would do something from there, right? Or at least that's what I would try to do in that scenario, right? You could also do something like OD. I don't know if ODDP will work there because Lily's isn't like invulnerable, right? Like I'm not sure what the timing is there,
Um,
but
no, well, if you were to if it's wind clad, if you were able to react, if light kick would work there,
mhm.
then her light punch or her ODDP because it's 4 frames.
Gotcha. But she would need to have stock for
She
that,
would
right?
have to have wind stock.
Yeah,
So if no wind stock, she can't. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to use DP for that.
gotcha. So I think parrying twice is probably the way to go, or at least trying to hold it. At least in my opinion, checking it there is actually really tough, right? So yeah. Anyway, that's just something to keep in mind as the set goes on, because I do this to you, and I'm sure this happens to you a lot in ranked games, because this is one of the best ways for these kind of Shoto characters or Fireball Drive Rush characters to get in, right? Throw a Fireball, force you to block it, because you don't have stock yet, and then just Drive Rush in, because Lily can't do a whole lot other than try to go for a parry there, right? Or a super or reversal, or you can even try dereving, but derev is a little bit tough too, because the meter
Plus
economy.
frame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. So you block the fireball, you derev the drive rush in, but now you're down 2 bars to one, right? Like I spent 1 bar, you spent 2 bars in the same situation, right? So
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
so yeah, try, checking that is tough. The raw drive rush, I think that would have worked if I didn't throw a fireball in front of it. We just have to be careful, is all. And you get hit. All right, go for conversion here. All right, so defensive option. Let's see. All right. Okay, so I go for throw. I think you tech. Nope. Don't tech. Or do you tech? Let's see. All right. Okay. So it looks like you might have been. Do you normally just hold light punch, light kick for your rollback, or like your back roll?
Yeah,
Okay.
for the back
Yeah, for the
roll.
back
I
roll. Okay.
should.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine to do in the. I mean, you probably don't need to do it in the corner because where are you going,
Yeah,
right? The frame rate doesn't change,
yeah.
right? So you don't need to.
That's
But
just out of habit.
yeah, yeah. But it looks like you just block here, right? Which is fine. Like you don't delay tech, you just block. It's totally fine. All right. So on this dash up, Ken is +1. So this meaty jab is real, right? Continue blocking, good. And then what happened here? Why did you get hit? Okay. All right. So there's the jab. There's the low. I whiff a button here. Oh, okay. So after the whiff, it looked like you tried to go for a button when we were both in neutral, and then my poke kind of just gets you right. What really is happening here is that because we're both in neutral right now, it's kind of like, oh, who's gonna act first, right? I had just whiffed a button, so obviously you could have maybe tried to do something there. But I think what actually has happened here is that I'm kind of matching your rhythm in terms of when you like to press, right? So you had just blocked a bunch of light buttons, right? So now I'm just kind of waiting a little bit to kind of match when I feel like you want to press, and then I just press my button, right? And it tags you. So typically that's just kind of a feel thing, a neutral feel thing. Especially in the corner is very difficult, right? Because you can't adjust space anymore. So you just have to, if you're getting hit like this a lot, and especially after neutral situations, like you block a bunch of buttons, you successfully defended the Oki or whatever, and now you're kind of in this neutral state. Try to maybe consider varying the timing of when you press your next button, right?
Okay.
Like maybe push it right away, like try to take your turn aggressively, or maybe like don't press anything at all, wait for me to press, right? Especially again if you're kind of in this middle of like, oh, I'm gonna wait a few frames and then press, because what ends up happening here is I just press a slightly longer button, like it takes a little bit longer startup, and it happens to just tag you as you're starting up your button, right? And I think this happens to you a good amount during our set. Is that I feel like you aren't really taking your turn back aggressively, and so because I'm noticing that, I'm just kind of waiting a little bit and then pressing my button, like delaying my crouching medium kick, and that tends to tag your and that was tending to tag your wake up frames or your startup frames, right? Okay, we'll do that again, right? So same situation as before. It's technically your turn here. Ken is minus, and you've blocked 3 lights, so there's nothing more that Ken can really do here, right? But you get counter hit here because you press late, right? So you see the frame meter here, yeah. So if you had taken your turn back aggressively there, you would have actually counter hit me out of this, right? So like 4 frames here, the startup would be here. You counter hit me out of this with your light, and then you can convert that to whatever Lily gets a conversion from, right? So that's a good sweep, right? Call it the movement. And a good throw here, right? So I actually didn't do anything here. I was fully expecting a strike, right? So I guessed strike and then it got thrown for it, right? So you can see I don't even delay tech, right? I just block. So right, so plus frames. Right, so more crouching heavy punch, good. But no cancel behind it, right? So again, normally you see Lilies will cancel this into their win stock to try to get stuck because it's been 20-ish seconds, right? And I don't think you've. I mean, I know it's been a little tough, but I don't think you've gone for a stock yet, right? So that would have been a good opportunity to try to get one, I think, because I was just blocking, right? I wasn't really ready for any sort of counterplay there. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
The back jump.
Yeah. That was more supposed to be neutral jump, more so.
Yeah, it gave you the back. Yeah. So this is your conversion here, though, right? So catch me walking back, right? Or catch you walking forward, and you're able to get a light conversion here with OD Spire, right? Right. So I want to say, this is a safe jump here, right? Oh, maybe
No.
it's not. Okay, 42. No,
Maybe
okay.
with a empty jump, but no.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So now I end up reversaling here, which is unfortunate for you. But if you look at the life and meter situations here, this is something that I think players, as you get higher up, tend to pay more attention to. Is that I know that an ODDP here is going to kill you and probably won't kill me, right? I don't know if you can deal this much damage
No,
to me
not with
with the
not with
resources
a
you currently
one
have. Yeah.
not with the level
Yeah,
one
one
super.
one super and like 4 bars or even full cash out or probably not. So I'm kind of gambling here, right? I'm like, okay, well if I wake up DP and I'm right, I win. If I'm wrong, I don't lose necessarily, but I have to guess the next interaction, right? You do some Lily combo that you could do, although without Windclad, it's a little bit tough. But you would put me one interaction away, right? You can command grab me to kill me probably next interaction. So I'm gambling
Um,
that I'd be able to get out of that situation, but I'm gonna win it here, right? If this lands, right? So I have the meter to do it, right? I can survive anything that you do here, so it's just something that I had considered when I got hit right here, right? So right here, I'm like, oh, I could probably ODDP them here because I haven't really versaled against them, right? So, and then I do it, right? So, but yeah, I think this game, the tough part is that you weren't able to get stock, right? And because without Windclad, again, it's really difficult for Lily to get her game going. Because I didn't feel like at any point I was in a strike throw mix-up situation. And if Lily can only just do like the neutral stuff, I don't think she does enough damage per interaction really to contend. Even against Ken, who has kind of lower damage mid screen, you're still gonna. I think you're gonna have to win way more interactions than I would to win rounds. So
yeah, not with our resources. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So
But,
that if that was the one takeaway from that is that I would think that, or I would hope that prioritizing stock would be the first thing to address. Yeah. So I'm assuming that too, right? It was a bit of an input
yeah.
error. Yeah. Yeah. So there too, right? I think. And again, I don't play Lilies, so I can't tell you for sure. But I would imagine that this punish counter and going into some route that gives you a Windclad stock is probably the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
uh into back heavy punch into heavier medium win
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
works.
Yeah, yeah, definitely just take that, right? Especially in the situation here, because if you look at the meter, right, you had just did a driver's cancel here, right? Land the punish counter into another driver's cancel. So you're a little bit low on resources here. So I think it would have made sense to go for a stock from there, because then it allows you to potentially try to get in, or at least keep me out, right? Because I can't, again, once you have stock, it's kind of risky for me to throw fireballs, right? So I said you whiff the
With the
with
command
the command
grab,
grab,
or no, that was
or just
just
normal throw, right?
that was normal throw.
So it unfortunately whiffs. So then I'm able to punish it. Or I don't actually punish it. I miss my punish too, but I tag you walking forward. So that totally would have tagged me, right? Like I was fully expecting a second strike of some kind, and I was just kind of pressing parry. So if you had gone for that and it landed, I would have taken big damage there, right? So unfortunately, you were out of range. I mean, was it the correct decision? It would have worked out had it reached me. But I do think that again, the stock is maybe a little more important there. The burnout for this is a mistake on my part. Right, so here was what's happening. Let's take a look. A good parry. Right, you block a jab, so Ken is -1 here. And then you try to go for a jab that's a little bit late, right? So you do a little bit of a delay jab. Right, so jab here, maybe a 5 frame before your jab, and it gets tagged because of the crouch medium kick, right? So this is actually a fairly common way to beat delay buttons. So this is something I tend to do more, because a lot of players will do a delay button in that situation, right? They'll try to tag me trying to go for a shimmy, right? Because if you look at the space, right, this space is a little bit too far for a throw, right? Like if I were to go for a throw right here, it would probably whiff, right? So the recognition of that typically means that I have to guess if you're going to go for what you're going to do defensively, right? If you just block here, the crouch medium kick could go off, and then that's it, right? Nothing happens. But if you go for a delay button, you get counter hit out of it, right? And you can see that's what happens, right? You go for a delay button. That's about 5 frames for the jab. Again, if I had gone for a shimmy here, or conceded my pressure, you would have been able to either block it out or potentially tag me with a counter hit as I'm going for the throw. But what ends up happening is you end up getting counter hit out of this, right? Unfortunately. So, if you notice your opponent is able to beat the defensive option, if you keep picking the same defensive option, right? I think opponents will pick up on that eventually, right? So, go for more throws. And I think I throw loopy here, right? Yeah. Reversal through. Although that's a bit of a risky reversal, right? If I had done a normal strike there, does it still beat it?
No, no, for that defensive option, yeah, I figure I was getting throw loop, and I
Yeah.
figure as much burnout. The throw loop, most people just take throws in that situation.
Yeah.
So I figure, okay, it'll just most things happen in threes in this game for most people.
Yeah.
So I just figure, okay, I was doing that DP probably from the after the first one when you went in for the second one. It
Mm-hmm.
just came out on the third one.
Gotcha.
So and so I told myself I try to incorporate her ODDP without Winstock,
Mm-hmm.
and with Winstock with Winstock, because a lot of people like going for throws in this game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 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 And it's tough, right? Because the throw loop from Ken is really strong there, right? Because
yeah,
you kind of go for anything. Although I am burned out here, right? So I don't know if I'd be able to get too much of a conversion, like a shimmy or something like that. So I think it was fine to make the decisions you made there, to be like, okay, the judge is gonna stop throwing eventually, right? But yeah, you have to make that call at some point, and you did, and it worked out, right? So could you have done it sooner? Maybe. People do end up delay
yeah,
teching, but it's kind of a feel thing, right? If you thought I was committed to a throw loop, then what you did is probably fine. Although I will say that the meter situation right here
yeah,
might have made more sense to go for a delay tech instead if you were thinking I'm going to go for another throw. Because your ODDP, if I just shimmy you here, well, I guess
Yeah,
shimmy
I'm
would be
dead.
both. You'd be dead, right? And also if I go for like a meaty strike too, right? Because the ODDP
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
have
not
that invincible
invincible.
for that, right? So at the very least, if you delay tech, you would beat a meaty strike and a meaty throw. For a hard call out for a throw, that's perfectly fine, right? I think it worked out. It's just again the meter situation here. It puts you at a closer to burnout, right? So like if you look like you're, a little over half a brick here. I'm about to get my meter back, right? The life situation's a little bit in my favor, and you're gonna have level 3 soon, so I'm not too worried about super resources. But this situation can be kind of tough to navigate, right? Because you really don't have access to your OD tools anymore, right? You have to kind of keep me out or work with meterless conversions and all that. So yeah, so I think that whiffing that is kind of tough. I don't know if like the light one. I think at that range, is it still? It's not that minus, is
No,
it?
the whole that was just trying to get to the block.
Okay. Because
Because
yeah,
yeah, in burnout, so at least if you were to come out of burnout, because that probably would have pushed you out of burnout, but I would have been plus,
okay, yeah, because I'm pretty
and
sure
it just was.
the spire can be like at like max range there. It could be as much as like plus. Like it could be pretty plus, right? So in burnout,
Yeah.
definitely, right? So
Hmm.
unfortunately that it whiffs. I
Yeah,
mean,
it just was.
like a conversion there. Should have converted into super. Did not. Yeah, no super there,
No,
unfortunately.
so that was very unfortunate.
Yeah. So definitely little level 1, level 2 there. I think level 1 might have been it. Either ways, it is what it is. But again, I think where it was kind of falling apart for you was that I was able to prevent you from getting your stocks right. A couple of input errors too. The stocks didn't happen for you, unfortunately. But that's kind of I think where most of the issues were for that, right? So let's take a look at one of your replays and let's see what happened during that. But while I'm bringing that up, so what do you think? Does that sound in line? What do you think about that?
No, it's pretty in line with what I usually see.
Okay.
Uh, what I usually see. Uh, drive rate, drive gauge management.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, drive gauge management, corner defense.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a lot, right? Especially with a character like Lily, who doesn't necessarily have the same defensive tools as a lot of the cast. You end up having to rely a lot more on like system mechanics, right? So stuff like derev, right, or your supers when you have level 1. That's just kind of the way the character is, though, right? Like you have to deal with pressure before you have a reversal option. So all right, cool. So this is against an Ed. So let's see how you handle this. That was sick. Okay, I dig that. I dig that. So say there you go, right? You immediately went for a stock. So now you're in a position where, if you were to spire, like Ed can't throw a fireball anymore, right? So you would be able to spire them on reaction essentially. You'd be able to force a plus situation into some sort of strike throw mix, and then if you win that interaction, you get a stock again, right? So you knock them down, you get a stock. If you land a command grab, get a stock, right? And even on a throw, you'll be in a position where you can go for like Oki or something, right? So, right. So instead, what happens here is the Ed immediately derevs you, right?
Hmm.
So this is a little bit tough. Let's see. Right. So they take half a bar from your spire, and then they derev you, right? So that's a pretty common response, I think, to Lily pressure. Mostly because it's probably the easiest way to deal with it, right? Because you don't have to guess anymore. You just derev the spire, and now you don't have to deal with the strike throw mix, right? Early in the game, I think it makes a lot of sense. You have a lot of resources to deal with, so this is just a reset to neutral, basically. So nothing too crazy so far. Yeah, so you see that same situation that we were talking about with Ken. This Ed does the same thing, right? Throws a fireball. Right? And then tries to drive rush behind this with like a crouching medium punch or something, right? Crouching medium kick, right? So again, like parrying twice might be the ticket here. A derev might be okay also. It'll put you a little bit behind in terms of meter resources, but it could be a way to not deal with the mix up here. Well, let's see what the Ed does. Right. So you just back up out of pressure. So Ed did nothing, right? They threw a fireball, you parried it. They drive rushed, got some plus frames, and did nothing with it, right? So you back up out of pressure, back to neutral, right? So this is beautifully defended. Perfect. No notes, right? Anti-air crouching heavy punch, perfect. All right. Oh, didn't get the spire at the end. All good. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so in this situation here, right, so you land a hit because they tried to press a button of some kind for some reason. Didn't quite get the conversion, no big deal. Right, so right here, this counter hit, it looks like you were definitely buffering, drive rush behind it. I would say that given your meter situation, if you were to go for that, I think it would have been better to buffer the stock, right? So if I look at this, right? So if instead you do the stock, like the heavy stock here or medium stock or whatever, you get the knockdown, right? So same situation, you'll basically get the knockdown and you get a stock out of it, right? So that might be the way to go, I think, when your meter is in this situation here. So let me see if that lands or not. Let's see. Right. So I think, what's Lily's Windclad? Is it quarter circle forward? Quarter circle back.
Quarter circle back.
Yeah. Let's see if this will work. Okay, so it doesn't quite reach, huh?
Nope.
So if you knew that wasn't going to reach, you could do something like this. Right? Potentially. But essentially, I think going for a stock here of some kind. I mean, maybe you would know that that's going to whiff, maybe not. I wouldn't have known, right? But going for a stock in that situation off of that punish counter hit, maybe even with a light store, might have made sense there, right? Because the Ed had just gotten hit, right? So it's kind of unlikely that they would do something that could reach you from there, right? Because they just got hit, so you could probably stock for free, and then you'd be in a pretty good position, right? Because you'll have a drive rush now, right, available to you, and Ed's kind of in the corner, right? So consider when you're looking at like hitting things and converting, like in those situations, like when you're neutral, like right before you press this button here. So you press this, right? They block it, or you whiff it. But like, make sure that you're kind of looking at this meter here, right? You don't even have to really like be staring at it in particular. But at least for me and other players to talk to, they're just looking for a flash of green here, right? Like if you saw green here, then I think a drive rush should be fine. But because you see orange or brown or whatever color you want to call this, that's not green. It may make sense to just go for something, a meterless conversion of some kind, right? Or, just because this is fine, right? Counter hit with this, your plus, take your stock, right? And then just play neutral again. Because you've clearly beaten this Ed a couple of times in neutral already, right? So why not continue doing that? So you go for conversion here, which, you get your damage. All right, so you're plus 37. Go for a jump. What does Ed do?
Backdash.
So you catch him, right? Unfortunately, don't get the full conversion, but it's okay because you answer the jump. Backdashes again. Ooh, okay. So you autopilot into this and get DI'd for it, right?
Yup.
Now, I think a big reason why the Ed decided to DI here is because you're burned out, right? I don't think this Ed DIs you if you had meter, right? So that's just what it is. But that's what I was talking about, right? Like that situation or decision that you had made 3 interactions ago that burned you out impacted this situation here, right? So now you're burned out. The Ed, if they're good here, went for a side switch, missed it, jumped over you anyway, right? So, but the end result, though, is that now, even though you have a huge life lead, you're still halfway before you get your bar back. Ed has you in the corner, and he has a meter to work with, right? So now you have to deal with Ed buttons at a range where you can't really interact. Like, it's tough for you to deal with those buttons, right? At least, maybe not yet, because he's still in your face and you're just kind of pressing jabs and stuff. But if he were to establish corner control here and you have to deal with flicker RPS, that's going to be tough without any meter, right? I like the idea. I like the idea, right? Try to get out of the corner, jump over. Unfortunately, he just parries. You don't quite make it over, and then he derevs you for some reason, right? So
Just, I think it's just to maintain the corner pressure.
yeah, and
He didn't need to.
yeah, yeah, and honestly, I think it's like thinking about it now, probably not a bad decision, right? He has meter to burn. You're burned out, right? Maintaining that corner position can be good. Ideally, he DPs this or anti-airs you, but he missed it or wasn't ready. Goes for parry here, and then just decides not to deal with whatever mix-up you're going to give from the jump in, right? So he's done this twice now, where he derevved in a situation where he didn't want to guess, right? The first one being when you landed the Wind Spire on block. So it might be something to keep in mind, right? Well, as you were going through the set, is that he tends to derev, right? So again, I like the idea. Ed doesn't respond. Unfortunately, you don't come down with a button, and Ed doesn't do anything, and then you guys just trade your jabs. Oh, what happened there? Okay, derev. Right, you trade. Alright, so back to neutral here. And then you try to jump, I guess.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was a jump.
It's interesting. So
That,
counter hit you, though. Oh, no, it wasn't counter hit. I take that back. It must have been the previous hit, so there's no counter hit here. So you try to jump. That's unfortunate. If you had held jump after that, it probably would have worked out, but it's because you kind of get back to neutral and then wait, right? And then Ed decides to just press his button when you're trying to move, right? So you get clipped. Right, now you have to deal with a mix-up. Safe jump. Block. Block. And then you have to deal with the OD flicker, right? Safe jump again. And then you get hit trying to jump out. And then it goes level 2 to finish it, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if you think about what happened here, right? All of this stems from your inability to respond to that DI at the end, right? And because you were burned out. So, the meter management aspect here. Oh, that's an interesting bug. So the music stopped. If I do the replay back, interesting. Anyway. Yeah, so it's tough here. You have control. You get DI'd, right? And then from here, it's just like you're not able to use any meter or get stock back, and you're kind of worried about the corner now, so you continue to try to jump out, and this is how he gets you, right? Now, there's a couple instances where he just doesn't anti-air you, and you probably could have gotten away with it, but unfortunately, you get tagged by this, which leads to the safe jump, right? And then what happens is you try to challenge against this button here. Block. Block, right? So he goes for a cancel here, right? So it's tough to try to press in that situation because the OD flicker here is going to counter hit you every time, right? You can't really press against that medium punch, right? Or, sorry, stand heavy punch. Right, stand heavy punch and a flicker, right? Like, the gap there is too short, is too small for you to challenge, unfortunately. So you get tagged by that. Gotta deal with the safe jump again. Or 41, huh? Well, he jumps in at you anyway, and you get hit, right? Trying to jump, right? So I will say that if you see your opponent jumping at you for this, like that, right, after you knock down, I think jump is probably not the best option.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, because if you think about it this way, like, what does jump beat in that scenario, right? And jump will specifically beat empty jump throw, right? So if they went for empty jump throw here, you would jump out and you'd potentially land on top of them. But then what does it lose to, right? Loses to the jump in, loses to a empty jump low, it loses to an empty jump button, right? Because it'll probably catch you out of your startup frames. It loses to the common things coming out of a safe jump, right? So since it tends to lose to more things than it beats, right? It's usually maybe not the best option, unless you have a read on the Ed going for that particular option. But you could just as easily defend this situation using option select, right? So you would do a fuzzy high-low guard with a delay tech behind it, right? So you block high. In this situation here, you block high. Then you'd block low, right? And then you would delay tech, right? So it looks something like this. Right, so he's coming in. So I know if the inputs is really short to see it there, but basically you would just, as they're jumping up, as they're coming down, you would switch to blocking high, and then as they come on top of you, you would then switch to blocking low and then delay tech, right? So if you do that, what happens is if they go for the button coming in, right? And assuming this is a safe jump, it's plus 41, so I'm not sure if like that's something that just this ed player does. But in a plus 42 situation, like a true safe jump, if they jump at you with the button and you do this option select, what will happen is you'll block high first. So if that hits you, if you they hit you with that, you'll block it. And then since you block low right after that, because you can't strike high and low at the same time, you'll block the low if they go for empty jump low. And then if you delay tech behind that, that'll stop the empty jump throw as well, right? So you'll defend against all three common options that the opponent can go for in a safe jump situation, right? Now, of course, there's counterplay to that where they can do a second jump, they can delay their button, etc. But at least you'll defend against the first, the layer one or whatever you want to call it. But you'll be able to defend against, the safe jump by itself, right? Now the opponent will have to do something else if you're able to defend the safe jump, right? So something worth labbing anyway. Safe jumps happen with a lot of characters, right? So like Jamies, Eds use it a lot, Akis use safe jump a lot too, right?
Yep.
So having that in your pocket to deal with those things is good. It also helps against like stuff that looks like a safe jump but really isn't, right? Because if you block high low and delay tech behind it, even if it's not a true safe jump, you'll still defend against those options, right? It's just that in that situation you could have reversaled potentially. I mean, Lily is a little different, obviously, but that's what it is. So anyway, moving on to the next round here. Okay. I respect it. So I think that spacing is actually fine for you to try to go for the Spire there. Punish counters him right here. So you go for an Oki. Okay, I like it. I like it. So he hasn't really been able, it seems like anyway, so far, he hasn't really tried to neutral jump you at all, so I dig it. Alright, you go for stock here. Good. Alright, so now we're seeing what the Ed likes to do here, right? This is the third time they derevved out of a pressure situation. So my guess is they don't like dealing with Lily, Lily Condor Spire like this. And it's actually not a bad option, right? Because if you look at the meter situation, you spend 2 bars, he spends 2 bars, but you lose your win stock, right? So not the end of the world for you, because you still have him in a good position here. And then you punish counter him with your wake up jab, right? He whiffs his crouching medium kick, and you're able to jab him, right? Unfortunately, no Spire conversion, but it's okay.
Yeah, I really couldn't, because the way Capcom designed Lily, the only way I would have been able to convert right there is either DP or through OD Spire, and I couldn't OD
that's right.
Spire.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And he's crouching too, right? So you have to use OD, right? I think that's how that works.
Yeah, because her light DP would whiff,
Whiff.
her medium
Yeah.
DP would probably whiff, and her medium DP probably catches, but it's kind of, I'm not gonna guess off of that because of how spacing wise it is. You could whiff all 3 of her DPs from right there, and you can block her Spires unless it's OD. So I couldn't.
Gotcha. No, I get you. Looking back on it, yeah. It's unfortunate either way that you couldn't get vision, but you get the hits, right? So you're able to kind of push them back, right? And
So what I was gonna try to walk up light, and then walk up throw.
Walk up throw. I respect it. I think I respect it. The Ed hasn't really been able to counter poke you coming in, so I think that's fine. But the way he gets out of it here is he just backs up.
Yeah, he just
continues backing up, and then once you whiff the throw, he goes for the standard approach, right? So the kill rush, right? Throw ball. Good guess against the flicker. Not sure why he held it there, but it is what it is. So again, the meter management situation here is hopefully, we'll see if you recover from this, but given the state of the round, right? This, ultimately you may not get your bar back by the time this is done, right? So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So you get a good command throw here. He goes for parry command throw, so that's good. Stock. Yep. Unfortunately, he neutral jumps your Condor Spire here, right? So, or your Spire, right? So You gotta deal with side switch. Okay, so now this is really hard, right? Like, you're gonna have to guess reversal at some point to win this game. Okay. Alright. Oh, challenge. So you do actually a really good job of defending what Ed is trying to do here. If you had pressed at any point there, you'd probably get hit. I can't say for sure because I don't actually know all of Ed's like pressure here, but you defend this well, right? The Ed actually kind of makes a mistake here. So it goes for the side switch here. And then he had enough bar to DI you here and just doesn't do it, right? Because if he DI'd you here, it doesn't look like you were ready for reversal, so he probably would have won it right there, but he doesn't do it. Instead, he goes for another OD flicker and burns himself out. So he was kind of betting it all right here that he'd be able to beat you down and win, right? He can't chip you out. Doesn't have enough meter really to kill you, right? Like with this, right? Because he only has 1 bar here. So, you know, kind of an interesting decision on their part. Because if you recover from this, right, which you kind of do, right, he has to back up. Right, so he could lose the game from here, right? Because if you were able to maintain that pressure, he can't press. And if he does press, you get hit, right? Like, your meter's going to come back here. But unfortunately, you get hit out of the spire. So what happened here? Okay.
No, I didn't.
So
I was slow on pressing. Yeah. No. Yeah, I was -4. I was just surprising.
Oh, -3. Sorry. So you're minus here, right?
No, I was plus.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, you are plus, huh? Let's see.
I was plus there, and then he just challenged.
No. Let's see. Actually, let's see. So let's look at the frame meter here. I swear sometimes these numbers that Capcom shows here is like wrong for some reason. So like you see here, you're +3 at this point, and then if you look at the frame meter, you're top meter, right? Yeah. So right here.
Yeah.
So he's actually plus here, right? So he's first act right here. I don't know why it shows like this, but if you look at the meter, the frame meter, right? His jab is coming out here, right? You just finished recovery. So you're -3 at this situation here. So I'm guessing like since he was in burnout, that would have been a -7 situation, but because of burnout, he's actually -3. So that space, right? So anyway, so you end up -3. You should be safe though, but it looks like you pressed something.
Yeah, I probably pressed light kick or light.
Oh, you weren't blocking. So if you take a look at your inputs here, you just weren't blocking down back after this, after that was blocked. Because he just kind of goes for the jab because he guessed that I'm assuming maybe he knew he was plus, maybe not. But he just like went for it here and you weren't blocking. So if you were blocking here, I don't think this conversion happens, right? Because you're only -3. So even though it's not technically, it's not, you know, your turn anymore, it should have been safe, right? So you weren't blocking behind that, so no big deal. But just be careful when that type of thing happens. Just you're holding the down back afterwards, right? Plenty of time to block, right? Plenty of time to react to the block and block for yourself. So okay, goes for blitz, light blitz. Goes for a mix, I guess is what that would do. Okay, so he goes for level 2 here. So now this Ed has no resources left, right? Spent it all right here. Tries to jump. Oh, and then you get hit by the stupid jump medium punch. That move sucks, dude. But yeah. But what happens here, though, unfortunately, is that the Ed kind of goes all in, right? He continues his pressure, counts as in a level 2 here because he'll lose from here if you press and challenge. So he has to level 2 here, forcing you to block. Right? Can't do anything about this. You just have to continue blocking. You do a good job of not biting on the jump in and just continuing to block low here, because that's probably what this Ed was thinking, was that he'll jump, he'll block high and then try to tag you low. Right? He goes for the jabs here. It's your turn here. He goes for a jump, and because you don't anti-air it, and because you're trying to walk back, you get clipped, right? So yeah, that's unfortunate. So again, I think like if we look back at the situations coming into this, again, a lot of this comes down to when you burned out here. Now, you know, you're at the level now where this is really going to come into play, right? Where like if you don't manage your meter correctly, you'll end up losing games, right? Because you'll run out of resource. You don't have resources to fight back, right? Especially with Lily, who needs them, right? So you get through this, right? That's right there, I think, is where it fell apart for you, right? Because you don't get your meter back until the very end from here. So you have to fight Ed in Burnout for this, right? So there's two things you could have done, or I don't want to say two things, but another approach you could have done had you burned out here was in this situation here, you don't have to do anything, right? Ed is really far behind, right? He has only level 1, right? He only has 2 bars here. You could just do nothing here, right? Try to poke him out, you know, play neutral, out poke with like your stand medium punch, crouching heavy punch, continue to try to get stock, right? You don't necessarily need to be aggressive for this, right? Now, I totally think that being aggressive here can be the correct play, but this Ed has been super active, right? So he's jumping, he's moving around a lot, he's challenging a lot of your buttons and stuff. So this strikes me as a player that doesn't like to be, you know, passive at all. So trying to be aggressive against them kind of plays into what they want to do, right? They're trying to just move around and counter whatever you do, right? So unfortunately, you get side switch here, and then again, this is where it kind of falls apart for you, right? Is that the burnout here? Right, you have to hold all of that. Right, get hit there. Right, and then you get clipped by this, right? So the Ed kind of went for something there and managed just to land it, right? But yeah, I think like if you had managed to keep your meter for more of the game, maybe not fall into this position where you didn't have meter in your corner for a long time, I think you would have had a better chance, right? Because in this game especially, if you're cornered, it's bad. If you're cornered without resources, it's doubly bad, right? Like you can't do anything, especially for a character like Lily, right? So
Yeah.
You know, we could talk about the decision points all day, but I do think that the main tipping point were those burnouts in particular, right? That's really the tough part, if you will, about that. So yeah, because I think you did overall an okay. Well, let's see. How many stocks do you get during this? You get like 3, right? There was 1. There's 2. And which you used immediately, which is fine. Okay, so, you know, that whole round, you're only managing to get a couple of stocks, right? So, I think, like, again, part of the Lily game plan is to be able to control the neutral, like control space using her buttons, get stock, and then force the +2 situations, right? Unfortunately, this Ed did a good job of stopping that from happening, where he derevved or spent meter or is willing to spend meter to stop you from getting in, which is fine, right? I mean, that's his defensive option for that and his decision to do that. But I do think that if you were to find a way to incorporate more of your crouching heavy punch and some of the other buttons that she has to control space, and then try to get more stock, I think you'd probably be in better positions to win, right? Because again, she needs those stocks to do her moves and stuff, right? So yeah, trying to think what else. We can take a look at one more replay here and see. Let's see here. All right, so this is against a Ryu. Let's take a look.
I don't even remember.
Good check. Good. Ooh, okay. So here, oh, I just liked your replay. So in this situation here, you could get a stock here, right? Light
Yeah, stock? Light stock, or actually the dash up into crouch heavy punch. I don't think yeah, that's a true block string.
Yeah, okay, so this is good. This is good. This is what you want, for sure.
And it pushes him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, no, perfect. Good, right? You went for it here. Well, it's interesting that what the Ryu tries to do here
Donkey kick.
He tries to drive rush donkey kick, which, um, I mean, I get
It's
it.
a thing.
It's a thing. At that range though, so he's trying to basically bait your DR check, right? So instead, since you go for the Spire here, kind of blows that up. All right, so you have Oki situation here. Go for throw, good. Oh, what happened there? That move is really slow. What happened?
That, yeah, that is
Yeah.
darn missed input.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because yeah, that's tough. You do want to just do crouching heavy punch here, probably, right? So,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Um,
So I think that
see, because
works. Because if you do that,
it's plus 20 here.
yeah. So if you do,
It,
yeah, right. So
mhm.
if you had a setup for that, I don't know if there's a setup there, but if you had a setup for a meaty crouching heavy punch there, that would have been perfect, right? So,
Nah,
um,
just go in for stock off right there because I ain't got any. You can't kill in that moment, and you can continue pressure, or you can just go for OD Spire
mm-hmm.
and light or try to bait, or yeah, you can. There's some things you can do, but I
Yeah.
didn't have any super, so it ain't like I could kill off
Yeah,
that
yeah. I
anyways.
mean, at this, it's still early, right? So here he's
Yeah,
just trying to establish, your Oki, your mid, you're trying to establish your conditioning here, right? So for especially for a grappler, and this is kind of something that is different about grapplers in particular, is that they need to condition the opponent to fear their command grabs, because the threat of the command grab is what actually causes the opponent to lose, right? So either you can, and you probably see this a lot when you play your games. Like you run into a Geef player that always goes for SPD, right? They will always go for SPD no matter what. And then once you start jumping, they'll start doing air SPDs, right? Like once you start doing that, so once you're conditioned to jump, they'll start getting you out of that, right? For Lily in particular, the conditioning goes that is it going to be strike throw, right? So taking the +2 situations and going for the command grabs and stuff, or even just going for command grabs in neutral, right? So like, right, you get this, right, and then you do a throw here, right? And if you'd gone for like a command grab here potentially, right, SPD of some kind, you could get them here too, right? A meaty SPD potentially, right? So,
yeah,
but anyway, like that's something that as a grappler player you kind of have to get a sense of, right? Is that how do I make my opponent play scared against me, right? Like every Oki situation needs to be a quote unquote 50-50 against a grappler, right? Or it needs to feel that way. Now, you as a grappler player can always go for strike or always go for throw or whatever, right? But the opponent needs to be scared to make a decision, right? Or be forced to make a decision. So, anyway, I think that, but here, right, obviously there's a misinput, and if you had gone for just a meaty crouching heavy punch, it would have been fine, right? So unfortunately, get tagged. Okay. Ooh, okay. Good. Perfect, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about here. You have stock, and then Spire on reaction to a fireball, right? This is exactly what Lily does, right? So knock down, get another wind stock, right? Oh, you got two. Dope. So this is a strong position now, right? Right here.
yep.
+2. Lily's bread and butter. What happens? Go for strike. This should be a combo. Perfect, right? This is exactly what grapplers, or for Lily in particular, needs to be doing, right? So this game plan is being executed perfectly against this Ryu. Right, one more guess. Oh. I don't know if you picked them up from there, but I like the idea. So this game, textbook, right? So you're able to win a neutral interaction or two, right? Get Oki, or sorry, not Oki, but knock them down, get stock, right? Now you're able to control the neutral where they can't really throw fireballs. You knock them down, you can continue to get stock, and then you basically beat them here in neutral because they really weren't sure how to deal with your buttons, right? And you didn't even land a command grab, right? You didn't need to. So like this player didn't really consider that because I didn't see a neutral jump or a backdash or any sort of like command grab, guessing command grab. In fact, they got hit, right? Like, right here. What were they doing? Right? They're trying to... Oh, I can take it back. They're trying to jump here. I'm completely wrong. I should have been paying closer attention. They try to jump your command grab, right? So... So they guess jump and get clipped, right? So I take that back. I take it all back. They were scared of your command grab, right? So, you know, you're able to capitalize on that. Then what do they do here, right? They jump again, right? So you can see that, like, even though you haven't been doing command grabs, this player obviously has that on his mind, right? He jumped twice in Oki, one in a mix-up situation +2, and then one in this Oki situation, try to jump again, right? So you can use this to your advantage now, right? Because if you notice that the player has done this twice now, you can kind of guess that future interactions will be heavily skewed toward trying to not get command grab. So this makes your, like, Spire into, like, the stand light kick better, right? It makes your Oki game a little bit better because now you can go for meaty strike throw, and they're not going to delay tech necessarily. So a meaty strike will beat the jump, and a meaty throw hopefully will recover in time enough for you to anti-air, right? So something to keep in mind, right? Right? And then you beat them here with, like, a jumping, right? Yeah. Cool. So that was a great round for you, honestly. Super good. All right. Hey. So interesting, right? I think this was actually worth it for you.
Yeah,
100%.
that's actually
Yeah.
Because of how, again, Capcom decided to design Lily. If I go for light, I won't get win stock, so I have to go for a medium or heavy. That'll get me the win stock.
Right. And I've seen
And
that too with I think it's El Chicote, I want to say. I don't remember exactly, but it's kind of like, if you doing this makes sense because you continue to keep the stock, and potentially you trade, right? If you trade here, it's perfect for you, right? You take some damage, but you
because
get the
it's
stock.
in the hitbox.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I think it's because you were standing a little bit too close. The box doesn't go out far enough, and I think the heavy works a little better for this. But this is a trade that I would take most of the time, right? So totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could have, if you were ready, you could have spired that second fireball, right? Right here, right? Odie Spire. But that's tough. But, you know, that's an option for you, right? You can, maybe it's too close to the fireball, too close for that. But that is something that some Lilies do, right? Is that if Ryu throws a second fireball, it gets spired, right?
Odie Spire.
Yeah. Like, I was perfect. And it was better, too, because you got through an Odie fireball, right? So now they're behind on meter, right? Well, I mean, you spent the same amount, but they got hit punish counters, so they take a little extra, right? Right? And then the punish counter takes another 3/4 of a bar here, right? So it's good. Stock. I don't mind that decision to parry there. If the Ryu had been going for these kind of strikes, I don't mind that decision. It's pretty common. It gets thrown, is what it is, right? You threw paper, they threw scissors. Such is life. Okay, have to deal with the meaty axe kick, right? Plus, they're really close to the punish, and you guys just back off, right? Alright, so the Ryu just wants to play Donkey Kick Fighter 6. Okay, so here, this is kind of a weird space for Ryu to throw a fireball. Right, this is a little bit close, right? But you go for a sweep. I'm assuming you read forward movement, so you went for a sweep here. This trade is totally fine. Hard knockdown, setup. Good, right? So, went for the command grab here. He wasn't ready for it. In fact, I don't think he did anything. He just blocked, right? Yep, so he gets command grab here, right? Stock. Good. Waiting for a fireball. Unfortunately, get drive rush grabbed a second time.
Yeah, I think I showed parry a little bit too much, so
maybe,
I think
yeah.
he stopped.
Yeah, he caught up on that. Yeah. Rotation of defensive options against drive rush is kind of important to think about, at least. Another thing you can consider here is going for a check of some kind here, right? So this is pretty far. So you could probably check with I forget what Lily checks with, like the crouching medium punch, I want to say, but I
I
forget.
can do well, crouch medium punch into super. That would be the
Hmm.
only one, or just stand medium punch because it's disjointed. It'll check there,
Yeah.
and at that range, I could probably do a light command grab or an OD command grab
Hmm.
because of the range.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be a conversion either, right? Like if you were to check this
yeah,
with a button, that's perfect too, right? He has to use a bar to do this. So spending a bar to get checked feels not great. So again, it's just something you'll have to work into your game more and more because tracking drive rush becomes way more important, especially at these MRs, because everyone is doing raw drive rush right in neutral, fireball drive rush, or just raw drive rush like this from a distance. Just try to close the gap and tag you, right? Like people don't like playing footsies or neutral in this scenario,
yeah,
especially against Lily, right? So this Ryu player has had his fireballs spired twice, right? This round and then the previous round as well, right? So it's likely in his mind the way if I'm, if I had to play armchair psychologist or whatever, in my mind he's like, I can't throw fireballs anymore. I need to get in, right? I can't zone effectively. They have two stocks, right? I need to get in somehow, right? So. Right, doesn't go for anything here. He gets counter hit on the startup of it. And then D-Rev here. So this is actually kind of worth it for you, although not 100%. The main reason I think it is because of the meter economy, right? So you do a normal Spire here. He has to spend 2 bars, and now you're ahead in meter, right? Now, of course, he has a little bit of advantage there, but now it's all gone, right? He had advantage, it's gone, right? He can't Oki or do anything from there, right? So now you have a bar over him here, which is good, right? And you're back to neutral, right? And nothing significant changed for you other than you're missing 1 stock, but that's okay, right? Like you have at least 1 here, so you still have access to your tools. All right. So plus situation tries to do the classic solar plexus into solar plexus. He went for a 3rd one. This Ryu is crazy. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, he's going for stand heavy punch. I take it back. But that's pretty tough. I think you probably could have checked, but it's always interesting when Ryus do this where they're doing like 20 frame startup into 20 frame startup. It means that you could probably jab them in those situations, right? So because this is 20
yeah,
frames and 20 frames into a 10 frame, right? And you do it, right? You check them here. That was good. Would have been cool if you. Yeah, I'm happy with that, right? I mean, the Ryu elected not to do anything here, but that's good. Good. Good, right? So he's just backing up. You tag him. Wait, how did he even get hit there?
went for donkey kick.
He's just not blocking. He let go of the stick or whatever, but he's not blocking here for whatever reason. Maybe he went for a jump, got SOCD cleaned. I don't know, but he is just not blocking. But this right here is really good for you, right? Because
Yeah,
you do this to him a couple of times. You're able to land that stem light kick and convert that into this, right? So that's good. Another Ogi situation. And then you catch him jumping again, right? Okay. I don't know if there's a super route from there you could take, but if you had one, I
yeah.
would do it, yeah.
Go and since he's in a corner, level 1 or level 2.
Yeah. And I think that would have been worth it. When you do it, actually. Alright, good. So this is a pretty dominating position here, right? So let's see what happens. Okay, gets E-revved out. So not a bad option from the Ryu player here. He has the meter to use it, to do it. Very safe way to end your pressure, right? You don't have to deal with another... Because you could go for command grab here, right? Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't want to deal with that mix-up, so just E-revs you out. Oh, that's tough. You're going to die from this.
Yep.
Yeah. So, is there a way we could have defended this better, right? So, light, right? But this is the first time he did this, right? Like, and
Yep.
actually, if you look, I don't think he reacted to your crouching heavy punch here. He actually just does it. So if you look when he lands, so this comes out right here, right? So he just lands and does a DI. Right? I don't think he's reacting to you doing this because this is 12-ish frames, and I don't think he just went for a DI here, right?
Yeah, that light wouldn't have worked. I could have.
So
Honestly, I should have. As soon as I saw the flash, that's a. I've
mhm.
been trying to remind myself is if I see that flash and I just do crouch heavy punch, I have a level 1, and that just stops that.
Yeah, you can buffer
Yeah, I
behind
should
that.
just.
Yeah,
Yep, and
yeah,
just cancel.
yeah. So what I will say is that in this situation right here, after the DREV happens, right, there's really nothing that Ryu can do here that what would cause a problem for you, right? So
Yeah,
like, he does this back jump here, and a lot of times this is just a bait for you to press something. Like I've seen players that will do this and just land and do a level 3. Like they will literally land and go into super because they're expecting you to press a button as they land, right?
I've seen that.
So like, and if you think about the situation, right? So you see the jump, right? I'm sure by about now you're like, okay, they're in the air. But there's really nothing that Ryu can do that will impact you from here, right? So like, even if he does like comes down with a heavy kick or something that only goes out to here, like there's nothing that Ryu button wise can do that will impact you, right? So the only thing that can happen is if you whiff something, like you whiff a anti-air, and he comes down with a way to beat you or that, right? And what this guy does, he just lands in his DI, right? Like he's not reacting to you pressing the button. Like I don't think he is. Maybe he is, but like where he presses it, right? So I think he's fully committed to DIing here, right? Is what happens. So
Yup.
anyway, just something to consider in your games, right? Is that if you're seeing this kind of defensive decision being made by the opponent, let them, right? Because they could jump like this all day. If you stood right here and they just continued to jump for the next 47 seconds, they'll lose the round, right? So there's like no reason for you to take a risk by trying to anti-air them or get in range or do something on the as they land, right? Because remember, when they land, they can act, right? They can just block or do whatever. So especially going into something where it's like you can get DI'd from it, right? That's kind of tough. So something to consider in your future games, right? When you see this kind of shenanigan happening, just let them, right? Like if they land here, what happens? Nothing. They're still in the same exact position they were, right? Like nothing changes other than they lose a few seconds. Maybe they gain some meter back, whatever. But like this Ryu is like a stray hit away from dying, right? They could have all the meter in the world, it may not matter. And it actually didn't matter because Ryu's damage is absurd, right? He has this sliver and kills you with it, right? Spends it all to kill you. So yeah, unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right, so the Ryu here got checked by his drive rush got checked once, and now wants to bait your check for some reason, right? I think it's common where like you lose interaction you normally win, so you stop doing it. But you don't like to press anything, so he just uses 3 bars for nothing, right? Like, what does this beat? I don't know. Like I literally have no idea what he's trying to get out of this, right? You try to check this, you check whiffs, and I don't. Anyway, maybe it's a misinput. I don't think so. Actually, it was. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, he does spend a ton of meter here, right? So he does this, and then he beats your check, right? Right. So it's good DREV. It's good DREV. I don't mind that at all. He'd been going for, he kind of hits you the last couple times, and you don't want to deal with that pressure. You have meter. I think it's fine. All right. So Ryu's corner pressure here. Okay. So what's happening now, right, is that he has some meter to work with. He's trying to use donkey kicks to get in. You check, right? And anytime you do something that allows you to try to get through, he just derevs it out, right? Now this was an interesting derev on his part. Because I'm pretty sure that Spire there is pretty minus, right? Off the cancel.
Yeah. That Spire, it'll still be +1, but I can't block it because it's not. I'm not plus enough to block the drive reversal.
Oh yeah, the Z-Rev, yeah, you can't do anything about that. But if he were to just block, if Ryu were to just block right here, right? Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, so you are +1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine then. I guess the D-Rev makes sense there, right? That's fine. So, anyway, you'll have to bear with me here. I don't know all of the frame data, unfortunately, but anyway, so the Ryu decides he's not going to deal with the +1 situation, or maybe he knows it's plus, maybe he doesn't, whatever. But he doesn't want to deal with this, so he D-Revs you out. That's fine. Right, and now he's just throwing fireballs and donkey kicks, right? Right. The last 3 actions or 4 actions this Ryu did were a special move, right? Fireball. Right, D-Rev. Fireball. Donkey kick. Fireball. Donkey kick. DP. Right? So, the way that you kind of deal with a player like this is just walk forward, right? Walk forward and block. They're just kind of pressing everything they have to try to keep you out. And Ryu's donkey kick, to be fair, is very difficult to deal with. But, you know, he's not doing anything like he's not trying to out neutral you. He's just pressing all his buttons in your face right now. Again, it's so hard to deal with, especially as Lily, right? But you can try to you know, whiff punish one of the missed donkey kicks or go for a parry or something like that on those, right? That might be something worth going for, because you know it's coming, right? Like that's what this player is doing. So right, meaty fireball, right? Whiffs that, get the punch counter. And then again, D-Rev's out of the pressure, right? So you've command grabbed him a couple of times, right? And now he wants to D-Rev everything you do, right? So in this one, I think you can't... Yeah, you can't bait that, right? Because...
That, yes.
Yeah.
If I'd blocked it, if I'd, instead of drive rush into command grab...
If you just blocked?
If I just blocked, I could have just command grabbed him off of that.
Yeah, so from right here, right?
Or option select the level 2.
Right. So you'd be able to 360 him there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so... Right, something like that. So, you know, if again, it's an option you have to consider more and more as players D-Rev you, especially a player like this who really likes to D-Rev, and even you saw it earlier with Ed too. If you can bait those D-Revs, that's a free punish counter command throw every time, right? Because you're +6, right? So easy money there, right? So that's the game though, right? Is that now that they're reversaling, you have to adjust to adjust to beat that now. Right. So, sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, until you run into the into the player who sees their drive reversal get blocked and then they level 3.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been able to do it because he didn't have a super, but
Yeah.
I've ran into those folks.
Well,
I don't blame them.
You should be able to punish counter. If it's a punish counter grab here, it should be okay. If you're late on the SPD though, yeah, I can see that happening. But if you block the D-Rev, you should be +6, so that should, you know, you should be able to command grab from there, right? But yeah, I've definitely seen that where like they'll D-Rev, it's blocked, and then they'll just mash super, right? And then if you're off by a frame, it'll come out and you get supered, right? So
yep.
I mean that's Street Fighter 6 though, right? Like people,
Yeah,
and any Street Fighter in general, right? Like mashing through someone's combo, I think is the right thing to do a lot of cases, because if they drop it, right, like you can take advantage.
It's your
of it.
turn.
Yeah, exactly, right. Especially if you have one frame, right? You can get that super through, and then that's it, right? So anyway, yeah, that's an adjustment to make, right? Like if you see the D-Revs, start baiting that and going for command, because Lily command grab punish for that is really good, right? That's really strong. So
yeah,
good super here. Unfortunately, now you don't have defensive options. Oh, good anti-air. Okay, so here I think you didn't need to. I don't think you needed to drive rush.
No,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, go for the stock here, right? This is a free win stock. Right, you land that, land the jump in, win stock, right? Now you're in a super dominating position, right? You can go for a meaty strider here, right? You have the knockdown, you go for meaty command grab, right? You have all the Oki in the world, and you'd have 5 bars. or not 5 bars. Sorry, you'd have 2 bars. Right, maybe a little more after the windstock, but you'd have enough to OD Spire and not burn out. Right, but now the situation is you don't have super, you don't have bar. They have level 1 and a little bit of bar. So basically next interaction wins, right? But you can see that they're super afraid of the command grab, right? They held up the whole way, right? You can, let's see. Right. As soon as they recovered, back jump, right? And unfortunately, you get hit clipped trying to anti-air this, looks like. You may not have
Yeah,
been ready.
it's
Yeah.
not.
Oh,
That was a misinput
yeah.
because I was going for crouch heavy punch
Yeah.
and
And
crouch
then
heavy punch into regular Spire. He would have lost.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, so the anti-air, if you had done that, would have been correct and it would have worked. So unfortunately, you get this move, which sucks, and you die for it, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that this round too showcased that you did a pretty good job in a lot of the situations of, well, not in this one in particular. Actually, I take that back. This round was a little bit tough for you because he managed to corner you. But if you look at what's happening here, even though the Ryu has you cornered, like, even though this is happening to you right here, you do the super. Counter. Yeah, you still had a good chance here, right? You had a chance to win this, even though like it didn't go too well for you at the beginning. You had a chance to win this, but that first round was really good for you, right? Like it showcased that once you have windstock and you're able to effectively get your opponent to gas strike throw, how good Lily can be, right? Because she can just bully her way in. I, as a defensive player, have to spend resources to deal with that, and if I'm not willing to do that and try to hold the mix, I could lose, right? Like 2 or 3 wrong guesses and I'm dead, right? So. But yeah, if I were to take anything away from this replay, it really comes down to meter management, right? Making
Yeah.
sure that you're not putting yourself in a position where you're going to burn out for a conversion, right? Just make sure that when you are in neutral and you're about to press a button, that you can cancel or buffer. Just make sure you're glancing, or at least have a sense of like how much meter you have left. If you see green, let it rip, right? But if you see brown or orange, or I guess it's brown, whatever. I'll call it brown from now on. If you see brown, you can't, right? Or you shouldn't, unless it's gonna kill, right? But you know that's the level of awareness you need, because you're at a level now again where burnout is gonna kill you, right? Like you saw how difficult it was against that Ed player for you to navigate burnout, even though you were ahead, right? It was difficult for you to get through. So, so those two things I would say. That's the thing I would say the biggest thing out of these, the meter management. And then against me in particular, there were issues with the trying to get windclad, right? Trying to get stock. So be willing to use Lily's buttons to get stock, right? Because again, there were situations where you had knocked me down, and I just didn't really do anything, and you weren't able, and you didn't really take advantage of that, right? Either through Oki or through gaining windclad, right? So I would say that, you know, again, I don't play Lily, but I do think that prioritizing those stocks in those scenarios, at least early, might be better than getting Oki in those situations, right? If you had to choose between the two. Because again, Lily doesn't necessarily need to pressure that way. She can just wait and then OD Spire, right? Windclad OD Spire gets in every time, right? Beats Fireball. Can't do anything about that, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Does that sound in line with what you're looking for? I mean, what do you how
No,
you feeling about that?
it pretty much confirms what I thought when I played games,
Mm-hmm.
because that's part of my list of things that I wanted to improve is meter management.
Yeah. So that is just awareness overall. If you had to ask me when I'm glancing at the meter, it's typically that's a lot actually. I think about it and I think about it. So like obviously when you start the game, you know how much meter you have. It's always 6 bars. But I typically glance at my meter during combos. So like as I'm converting something, I'll glance at my meter in neutral before I press a button. So like as I'm kind of moving in neutral, I'll be looking at the meter to see exactly where it's at. And then during like other quote unquote downtime, right? So if I'm getting comboed by somebody, I'll also look at the meter, right? And that's for all meters too. Like you look at the drive bar, health bar, super bar, right? Like
Yep.
trying to maintain the awareness of all of that. It gets easier for sure to do it as you do more and more. So Cool, man. Yeah. Did you have time to run it back? You want to run another first to three? You down or you got time?
Yeah, I got time.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Let's go ahead and queue up. I'll leave the mics hot. But yeah, just remember that try not to burn out, and try to prioritize getting win stock, right? Because you can really mess Ken up if you have the ability to OD Spire through stuff. So. Mm, nice. Uh-oh. Huh. Oh, I forgot that it does multiple hits. That sucks. Nice. So, perfect, right? The Windclad stuff worked out really well, and you're able to get through, right? That's an also try not to reverse on the last interaction, I guess. Ooh. Oh no. Oh. Uh-oh, I'm dead. Nice. That was good. That was good. So see how the like not being burned out forces me to not play a certain way. Like I can't just bully you with fireballs and stuff when you've been not burned out. So it was good. That was good. Yeah, the corner pressure can be tough to deal with for sure. It's pressing. Nice. Oh, that setup is sick. Delay button. Oh, I was. Oh. Oh. Oh, that would have worked. Oh, wake up command grab? That was sick.
Oh,
Oh. Nice. Uh-oh. Nice. Whew. I really thought you were gonna level 1 me there. It's like, it's kind of a big risk.
oh no, yeah, not.
Oh, okay. Oh, if I had pressed there, I wonder if that would have worked. Alright, so, much better though, I think. You were kind of going for stock a little bit more, so you had stock. Maybe not the last game, but the game you won, definitely, you had to make me think about the stock coming in. You're also, you were a lot more patient in neutral these last couple of games. So that was actually really good for you. And I think you didn't really burn out, so also really good. So some improvements there for sure. And you did take a game, right? So that's good too. But yeah, I think you've just worked towards like not really burning out and going for those stocks. It really puts yourself in a good position to win. So
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the help.
yeah, cool, man. So yeah, anything else before you wrap up?
Nah, that was it.
Perfect. Cool, man. So yeah, I'm just gonna meet you on Discord, and I'm just gonna do the outro for the stream. Feel free to hang out, but if not, have a good night.
You too.
All right, everyone. Thanks. It's been Sit Down and Shut Up. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning there. I think I might have had some Discord settings that would blow people's ears out, so I apologize for that. Yeah, otherwise, I run this through the Fight Rise Discord. So Fight Rise is a fighting game community focused on Street Fighter 6. They run bi-weekly tournaments through their One Fight Stand series. They just had one today, actually. And it's basically a 7-round Swiss if you're in the master pool, or if you're in the master rank. So if you have a master rank character or want to play your master rank character, it's a 7-round Swiss. And if you don't have a master rank character, you'll be put into a pool where you'll probably get around 7 rounds. It'll be eight person pool, so you get 7 round round robin, right? So good way to get tournament matches, right? It's real casual, real beer league feel to it. They also do community events through their One Urge to Fight series. So they showcase some of our great fighters in the community. You can check out past episodes at twitch.tv/FightRiseFGC, and I believe they're starting to upload them to YouTube as well. So take a look at the Fight Rise YouTube channel. They also, if you wanted to do a session like this, you like what you're seeing here, please join the Fight Rise Discord. Look for a channel called Sit Down and Shut Up. You can take a look at the pinned messages there and sign up for a session with me for training. I try to run a couple of these a week. I've been running more of them lately as the queue's been growing. So just join in, take a look at the pin messages. You'll get instructions on how to join and all that stuff. I'm also part of the Newbie Fight Club. So Newbie Fight Club is another fighting game community that is focused on helping newer players get into fighting games. It's mostly Street Fighter 6, but we have some folks that play Tekken and Virtua Fighter and some other anime games as well. If that's something you're into, can we get games there? They run lobby nights Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So usually Mondays are like for modern, but you can run anything there. Wednesdays is usually the newbie night, so newer players be coming in and playing. And then Fridays are typically a little more of a free for all, or free form rather. Sometimes they also run tournaments, right? I think they do one bi-weekly also. It usually ends up being a Swiss tournament, but they do other formats sometimes as well. So cool. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know I don't really respond to chat or anything like that during these sessions. Unfortunately, a lot of the time I'm focused on helping who I'm streaming with, but I do appreciate you guys' messages and follows and subs. Like Satoru over here, you always give subs for some reason. So I appreciate you all. And also, speaking of it, I'll give a shout him out. So if you're looking for coaching as well, Satoru is another one of the excellent coaches we have at Fight Rise that can help you out with your game. If you look at the training requests channel under Fight Rise Discord, you'll be able to sign up for training with him as well. And he's a fantastic player and a great coach, so highly recommend him as well. Cool. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it, and have a good night.